Good morning. Sunday Social Security Roundup for the week of looks like October 28th until November 2nd. Okay. So this fall is trucking right along. It's going so fast as always. So what do we have on the 28th, which should have been a Monday? Looks like we had, oh yeah. So this was interesting. This was some general tips for maintaining your evidence in preparation for a future CDR. There's a lot of things you should be doing so that you have all the evidence that you should have that supports your disability when a CDR comes. And what I think is funny about it is there was a commenter, some viewer who commented that, wow, teaching people how to, I think the term was work the system. And it was so ridiculous. I was kind of surprised, like, wow, this person really thinks if you are learning the law, people, you are working the system, disabled or not, bad, bad, bad. That was kind of the impression that it gave. And I was like, had to kind of set the record straight for the fellow because knowing the law and what the SSA requires of you is working the system, that suggests that unless you are an ignorant consumer, you are working a system, not just providing what the law demands of you. It was very, very surprising to me. So, of course, you know me, I had to step up there. I think I pinned it so everybody could see, only so that if anyone was going to be misguided by it or has that same impression that if people take the time to learn about the Social Security insurance program so that they can uh, get the best benefits possible for themselves, which, by the way, includes working harder as well, and longer and making more income. You're playing the system. It's just so funny. I was shocked. Okay, so that was Monday. Then we have Tuesday, the 29th, I think. This was the first of things that I knew were going to crop up as we went along and still are because we're still in the throes of it. uh, Working on a dual SSA 820 and SSA 821 for a disabled person who both has a part-time minimal hour W-2 job and has another self-employment um, set of income, very, very small, from providing a certain, almost like a hobby, but people pay for it. So an SSA demand was for the 820 and the 821. And the first uh, tip that we came across that could help some other people are in this video. Um, and I think pointing out that you could get a demand for both of those reports and throw you for a loop is something to be considered also. The next day, we're still working on that, and it had to do with bonuses. When you are a W-2 and your kind employer gives year-end bonuses, that is going to be considered earnings. And while you think you make X amount an hour, the bonus can sometimes tip you over SGA, and what you might be able to do about that under the rules of the SSA itself. Okay, that last one was October 30th. And then what do we have? I'm losing track of my thing here. It's not prorated properly. So that must have been, was that Thursday? No. What day are we on? That was, I don't even know where we're at. That was Wednesday. So the 31st, Thursday. Oh, this was about work history report, because I was in the midst of one at that moment with a client. When you can't remember all those dates of those jobs, this happens a lot when you had a lot of them, or they were part-time, or you did a little gigger work here, there, and everywhere. It can be tricky to recall your dates, particularly if you have memory problems or concentration problems. And certain things you can try to look at to help jog your memory so that when you do your work history report that will be demanded of you, you have a better chance of getting it right. There's many things that can affect. If you get it right, you may be able to make clear that a particular job is not even considered past relevant work, even though it was in the last 5 years. And that could be very important because now you don't have to disprove you can't do that job. And some other little tips in there. Okay, so then we have November 1st was Friday for our law review. This one had to do with a West Virginia person, a business owner, in fact, who harbored illegal alien workers and fake IDs for his own profits. The man did get caught. I think it was a man, if I recall. And bad news. Bad news when employers are perpetuating, the breaking of the law for their own greed when it comes to illegal immigration and all that stuff. And by and large, I would suggest that when they are doing it, they are underpaying. So they're doing it for greed and they're taking advantage of the illegal immigrant who's probably in fear of being caught. So when you're in fear of something, people can take advantage of you in a variety of ways. As we all can imagine, it can be work for nothing for me. We know sex trafficking involves all of that. So there you go. Bad actor. So that was the first Friday. Yep, for law review. And then on the second, which was Saturday, we had this. It was still involved in the 820 work, that dual 820, 821 work, participating in for somebody. And this has to do with if you are doing your 820, you're a self-employed person, and that would include giggers. And people that don't really think they have their own business, but technically when you're self-employed, that is your business. And when the SSA relies on your tax returns, what if you didn't write off all of the business expenses the IRS allows us to? You might not have known about them. You maybe had other reasons you didn't want to. Doesn't matter. I don't believe we're obligated to write off every darn IRS allowance that we're given. However, if you're hitting up on SGA and you're doing an 820 at the behest of the SSA, you might want to take note of this video because there might be remediation you can do despite your prior tax filing and what you said you netted. Okay, so take a look, see. We use it appropriately, of course, to show that the net was really not as high as it looked like, and here's why. And you have to submit the proofs, of course. All right, so that was it, I think, guys, for the week. It's a busy time right now, so some of these are coming out really on the fly. Hearings are kind of abundant right now, along with everything else. So it always takes a busier schedule to get everything done. And of course, now we have the holidays coming up too. So, and a bunch of family stuff. But anyway,